Albert Pujols, the machine, is in the home run derby tonight. What to expect from the machine? Is he going to win it all? We'll discuss our predictions today.
Plus, we'll recap the Cardinals' butt kicking of the Reds and introduce you to the Cardinals' number one pick from last night's MLB draft on Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Cardinals podcast for Monday, July the 18th of 2022. I'm Lucas Smith. That's JD Haffron with me as well as always. Thanks for tuning in and thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day each and every day. A little bit of moving around for one of us today, JD, being me, causing a little bit of a late delay, but it's a little bit of a preview for the home run derby tonight and a good weekend of Cardinal baseball to discuss as well.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to, a lot of happy stuff to get to, Lucas, which is always nice. We're not going to have anything really that negative to talk about today. Kind of refreshing.
Even for a Monday. Very refreshing for a Monday. And this Monday episode is brought to you by BlueNile.com. Make your moments sparkle with jewelry from Blue Nile, and going on now is the Blue Nile anniversary sale. You can save up to 40% off on classic fine jewelry and 5% off on engagement rings as well. You can shop stress-free and find your forever piece at BlueNile.com today. More about that coming up in just a bit. And again, just a little bit of a disclaimer. I've been moving around out of my apartment the last couple of days as well as some other things. So video quality on YouTube as well as audio. You can see it on YouTube. Not the best, but we're going to roll with it. We're still going to talk some Cardinal baseball. So like JD mentioned, we got some fun things, including a new draft pick to discuss. But first things first, the machine is in the Derby for the final time. He gets paired up with Kyle Schwarber, the top seed in the National League. And I don't know about you, JD, I've always loved the home run derby. Of all the all-star weekend spectaculars of all sports, I've always thought the home run derby was one of my favorites. Do you have a different one that you like better, or what are your thoughts on the derby in general?
I always loved the Derby. It's always been a lot of fun to see some of your favorite hitters hit the ball as far as possible and not worry about having to move a runner over or whether or not they got to put a ground ball. Like, just swing it, man. Here's one thing I wish they did, to be honest with you, Lucas. So you know how you've got a few people who have been busted with cork in their bats over the years? Sammy Sosa, the Cubs. Remember that? Remember that? Oh, I just corked my bat for batting practice for the fans. Really, dude? Okay, whatever. Why not let them do that for this particular event? I think it'd be fun. Anything to make the showcase and enhance it any more than they can. I'm all for it, man. Let's do it. Let's see them hit it 600 feet if they can. The only one that I would say I compare it to that is another one that I like a lot is the NBA All-Star game. They'll do the 3-point contest. I always enjoy watching. I watch that better than the dunk contest because I don't know what else they can do. They're dunking over cars and people and stuff now, and I don't care. But the 3-point contest, I still love that one a lot too. But still, home run derby by far my favorite all-star event out of all the big sports.
Well, the Chicks did the long ball. You know, that's what they say. Mm-hmm. So they got to center a whole event around that. You had the Futures game over the weekend, and we saw Mason Wynn throw a baseball 100 miles an hour from shortstop. That was pretty fun to watch.
It's pretty good, right? That's not bad.
Move over O'Neill Cruz. We don't want to talk about you anymore. We'll talk about Mason Wynn's 100 mile an hour per hour throw. We see the celebrity softball game as well. Bryan Cranston getting into it with an umpire. Thought that was hilarious. As well as now tonight, the home run derby will continue. And we'll talk about Albert because Pujols has been in some home run derbies before, as you mentioned. All but one of them has come as a Cardinal. He was in the Angels. As a member of the Angels back in 2015, but he gets to finish out as a Cardinal. I really don't know what my expectations are, JD. I really don't, because he's coming in there, 40-plus years old, facing Schwarber. Middle of the season, it's been hot. He's been playing a lot recently. I just don't know what to expect, but I do know that I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's all you really can do. Am I expecting Albert to get out of round number one? The odds are against him. That's not a smart bet if you are betting on him, but maybe he has one final surprise for all of us, and maybe he can upset Schwarber. I would doubt it. I'm not expecting that, but anything that Albert does the rest of this year in a Cardinal uniform, just cherish it and enjoy it, because that's what it's about. It's about having fun for him in his final season of his Hall of Fame career.
There's no doubt, and that's been true. I think the whole season that mindset should have been, but now that we're getting to we're at the halfway point in terms of the All-Star break, we've been much past the halfway point in terms of number of games. We're starting to get to the tail end. Now that becomes even more important, right? To cherish these memories, to cherish the machine, because he's not going to be around forever. His season is coming to an end. It's been nice to see him produce a little bit. He hit a ball 108 miles an hour for an out on Saturday, had a home run over the weekend as well. So we're starting to see some good things from Albert, but we need to enjoy it while we can. And you might have better memories of watching him in the home run derby more than I do. He was in the one at Busch. You mentioned the one in Chicago as well. Do you have a favorite Albert home run derby memory, or what do you remember from seeing him in the derby all those years ago?
Well, sadly, he's never won one, which kind of dampens everything, because he's never gotten to hold that trophy up at the end of the contest. But all in all, it's just been any of the years. It's just fun to see that swing just do what it does, because it doesn't change any compared to what he was doing when he was going up against live hitters in real games that meant something. Like, it's the same swing, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch. Usually you give a lot of credit to the left-handed hitters and how good they are and how beautiful their swing is, where Albert's just got that amazing swing from the right-hand side of the plate. So it was always fun to watch him. I mean, it was a shame that when he would lose, he would get knocked out, and it's not like he would do bad. It's just whoever he was going up against would just go off, and it was crazy. And I think he lost to Garrett Anderson. I mean, seriously, Garrett Anderson's the home run derby champion. That's horrible, right? Dude never led the league in home runs or was ever considered a power hitter, but that's who we fell to one year. And you're just like, come on, man, that's who it is. But all in all, again, you just enjoy it just because it's kind of cool. Albert always shows out, and he always does a really good job. So if he doesn't make it out of the first round this time, it'll be the first time that he hasn't made it to at least the semis, I believe.
Yeah, he's definitely he shows out as much as he can. Albert comes through in a lot of different ways. And to be honest, I'd rather him come through in, let's say Game 3 of the 2011 World Series more than I want him to come through in a home run derby. But regardless, we will see what he's able to do for the home run derby tonight, coming up here in just a little bit. As it's at Dodger Stadium. We'll see how full it gets. LA people notorious for showing up late. I'm sure it's no.
I hope it'll be full, because they got two former Dodgers in the derby tonight with Pujols and Corey Seager, who just left to go over to the Rangers. So I would imagine both of them will get a massive round of applause. So I would hope that LA comes out and checks it out, because you got some great young talent in this game, or I shouldn't say game, but in this event. Julio Rodriguez, the rookie. Ronald Acuna Jr., super young. Future Cardinal Juan Soto. I should say. No, just kidding. Well, I mean, I hope he happens, but I don't think it's going to. But yeah. But Juan Soto will be in it. Guy only hit one 520 feet last year, so you got a lot of power. You got a lot of big names, and of course, the defending champion Pete Alonso is back. He's won it 2 years in a row. It's just going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Really looking forward to it. Hopefully the Dodger faithful show up on time for tomorrow night's game, the All-Star game, because their boy Clayton Kershaw is finally getting an All-Star game start after his storied first ballot Hall of Fame career. Finally getting an All-Star game. We'll go in-depth to that maybe a little bit more tomorrow, because some people are up in arms that Sandy Alcantara didn't get it. My quick thoughts. Kershaw's been too good for too long not to get one. We go into specifics, but he's been too good for too long not to get an All-Star game start. I digress. Somebody who is getting an All-Star game start, JD, Paul Goldschmidt, batting fourth. Batting fourth, cleaning up. Hopefully he'll get maybe 2 at-bats. We'll see how many ABs he gets. Freddie Freeman is on the team as well, so maybe they want to get Freeman an at-bat or 2 in LA. But good to see a Cardinal in the starting lineup for an All-Star game.
Yeah, with the Arenado backing out due to his back issue, which is fine. Again, this game doesn't mean anything like it used to, so it's really okay that these guys all back out and say, "Look, I'd rather get some rest." Personally, I would love to see Goldie take a few days off, but yeah, he's one of those guys that's not going to do that. He's ready to perform. So, and it's cool to see him bat and clean up. Well deserved. So many years, you've had guys that. For the Cardinals that get into the starting lineup and then they got him batting like 8th or something. Right. You're like, what? No, Goldie's been the best hitter in the National League so far in the first half of the season. He deserves to be the cleanup hitter for the National League All-Stars.
Rest of the National League All-Stars line up like this. Acuna Jr. leading off. Acuna Jr. and Shohei Ohtani are the two leadoff hitters for these two. I think that is remarkable. Good to the AL side in just a minute. Not a bad lineup. Acuna is in right. Mookie Betts is playing center field. Manny Machado, another MVP favorite, is playing third base. Goldie's cleaning up. Quick side note. How cool would it have been, though, to see Nolan Goldie 3-4 in this lineup?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Trey Turner playing shortstop. Wilson Contreras is catching. William Contreras, two brothers in the starting lineup, DHing. Jock Peterson is in left. Jeff McNeil is playing second. He's starting over Jazz Chisholm, who's sitting out. Other than Goldschmidt, who's a quick favorite in this lineup for you, JD?
I mean, I got to go with Mookie. Mookie is a fun one to watch. And the amazing part about him is that he's just so not big. Like, he's just a little guy out there in right field, and he's so good. He'll be in center field for the All-Star team, so I love watching him. I love watching Trey Turner. I love the speed of Trey Turner. Like, even a ground ball to third, he almost beats it out every time. It's just he's just a great player to watch, and unfortunately, they're both on the Dodgers.
Mookie Betts is also really good at just about everything he does. A couple perfect games, bowling, football, these things. But American Leaguers real quick. Ohtani, the aforementioned leadoff hitter, he's DHing. Aaron Judge, MVP favorites in right. Rafael Devers is the third baseman. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is playing first base. Giancarlo Stanton's in left field. Buxton is in center. Good to see him in the All-Star game. Tim Anderson, the shortstop. Jimenez, the second baseman of Cleveland. And Alejandro Kirk, the catcher out of Toronto. Really happy to see Buxton. He's probably one of my favorite guys to watch. Heard a lot, but favorite guys to watch. Anybody stand out? Obviously, you got Ohtani. Anybody stand out in the American Leaguers for you?
Judge has just been a treat to watch all year. I mean, he's 7'8". I don't know if you guys know that, but he's ginormous up there at the plate. It's unbelievable. Like, just watching him tower over the umpire and the catcher each time while he's up at the plate. Like, I'm like, I don't even know how you throw to this guy. Like, how does he not reach the outside part of the plate ever? Like, his arms are 20 feet long. It's crazy. So seeing him being able to play is fantastic. And as you mentioned, Buxton, who's a very exciting player. When he's healthy, he's something else to pay attention to, not only offensively, but defensively. The dude is a stud.
He is a stud. Clayton Kershaw starting for the National League, and Shane McClanahan of Tampa Bay starting for the American League. Two fun left-handers to watch. Maybe we'll see Ryan Helsley in this game as well for the St. Louis Cardinals. And hopefully, obviously, Albert Pujols gets an at-bat in there as well. On the field, the games that do matter, the Cardinals finished up a series with the Reds, abruptly so, as Sunday's game was postponed due to weather. We saw the same exact thing happen last year against Chicago, but we'll talk about the Red series coming up here in just a moment, as well as, again, talking about the newest members of the Cardinals team with the MLB draft this week. But first things first, whether you're ready to pop the question or you're just going to celebrate a milestone moment, jewelry needs to be as unique as your significant other with a modern convenience, right? You can find that at BlueNile.com. They have simple online tools that let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as the setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft the perfect engagement ring. Each ring is one of a kind, just like your special someone. And if you're looking for fine jewelry but having trouble finding it, don't worry. Blue Nile has jewelry experts on hand 24/7, available via the phone or chat function to help you find a memorable gift at every budget. Make your moment sparkle with Blue Nile jewelry, and going on now is the Blue Nile anniversary sale. Save up to 40% off on classic fine jewelry pieces and 25% off engagement ring settings, and every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Even if your anniversary is in June or it's in May, get it early while this sale is going on. Shop stress-free. Find your forever piece at BlueNile.com today. So the Cardinals with a couple of good wins against the Reds, JD, and I know it was the Reds. I know it's Red bottom feeders, right? But 2 wins are 2 wins going into the All-Star break.
Yeah, well, it was also a Reds team that it was playing really, really well coming into the series. And we discussed how you just couldn't sit back and expect to get a victory over this team who had just played the Yankees really well and won 2 out of 3 in New York, had swept the Tampa Bay Rays. So they came in doing really, really well and feeling great about themselves. And the Cardinals took care of business, which was really nice to see. There wasn't a a whole lot of drama really in it. The first game, things got off to a bad start as the Reds took the lead early, but then it was the Cardinals pretty much the rest of the way. Palante had a decent showing. Like, I'm not expecting Palante to go out there and throw 7 shutout innings. I mean, to give you 5 and give up 3 runs, I'll take that out of a rookie. And then the bullpen comes in and does a good job. So they take that first one 7-3, and then on Saturday, bit of a butt kicking for the Cardinals as they just trounced the Reds 11-3, and that was fun to watch too because I like the fact that there was like no mercy. You remember the Cobra Kai shirt I wore that day?
I do.
No mercy. That was the idea. Okay, when you got an opponent down, you step on their throat and make sure they stay down, and that's what they did. We had a little bit of drama with Cabrera over the weekend, but that it's okay. They got past that, but it was good to see the Cardinals just take care of business. And unfortunately, they weren't able to get the sweep on Sunday after getting rained out. But it was fun to watch the first 2 games, getting W's in both.
Agreed. One negative from that game was T.J. McFarland giving up 2 they were unearned because of an error behind him, but he did pitch a little ineffectively outside of that. Walked 2 batters, only recorded an out on Saturday. But I want to highlight one person, JD, real quick on the offensive side of things. Obviously, with 11 runs on Saturday, there's a lot to choose from, right? But I'll talk about Tommy Edman. We talked about him briefly last week. He's been struggling a little bit. Arguably could have been an all-star, if he didn't struggle to close out the first half, right? He reached base 3 times on Saturday, 2 hits and a walk. Guess how many runs he scored on Saturday, JD?
Scored 3. I was going to say 3.
I cut you off. Hold on. Okay, well, I'll give you a second chance. He reached base twice on Friday. How many runs did he score, JD?
Twice.
Dude reached base 5 times in 2 games and scored 5 times.
Yeah.
I understand that's a microcosm. That's a small sample size. But when Tommy Edman goes, this offense goes. And I get it was the Reds. Let's just put that out of our minds for a second. At the end of the day, Tommy Edman got on base 5 times and scored 5 times. Is that credit to Goldschmidt, who drove him in a lot? Carlson, of course, it's credit to those guys. But the point is that Goldschmidt's home run on Saturday was a 2-run home run because Edman got on, rather than a solo home run. So it gave them a 2-run lead rather than a 1-run lead, right? It was a 2-1 game at that time because of the home run given up by Michaelis. But the point is, Edman can be the igniter in this offense, and we saw a microcosm of that over the weekend. We talked about it last week. I just wanted to give it a mini shout-out because we saw a concrete example of it in 2 back-to-back games.
Buddy, you nailed it. And it's truth that when Tommy Edman, especially when he's sitting at the top of the order, sometimes they scooch him down when he's struggling a little bit. But when he's at the top of the order where he belongs, then if he gets on base, it causes problems for the opposition. And he's got obviously the great wheels where I think he's second in the NL in stolen bases now. He can cause problems, and he bothers pitchers and catchers out there when he's on first or second base. And that just makes it that much easier for guys like Goldschmidt, like Arenado, even Carlson batting in the 2-hole, or Yepes, whoever they got there, to do more damage. And the stats don't lie. When he is on base and scoring runs, this team wins. Simple as that.
And it wasn't just because I was hitting right-handed either. His leadoff hit in the first inning on Friday's game came left-handed against the right-handed pitcher, Hunter Green. So, again, more to the point that he can hit from both sides of the plate when he's right. These slumps will happen. It's not like we gave up on him completely when he started slumping, right? But there is that point there. You mentioned something that I nailed, talking about the Edmond success. What you nailed was getting to the Reds bullpen, because the Cardinals saw some success over the weekend in getting to the Reds bullpen. They took advantage of, some rookies with some upside, but not really there yet. But the bullpen for the Reds let them down again, multiple times over the weekend.
Yeah, both rookies, Hunter Green and then Nick Lodolo on Saturday. The Cardinals did exactly what we said they should do. They were selective. They took pitches. They didn't chase anything. They made those young pitchers throw strikes, come to the zone, come to them, and they didn't do it very well. And when they did get in the zone, the guys were ready, and they hit it. But they took a lot of walks, made them throw a lot of pitches early on, and, of course, you get into that bullpen, which is horrible for the Cincinnati Reds. It is terrible. It's as bad as it gets for that team. Like they're a decent team in almost every aspect except there. You get to that bullpen, and it's just garbage. It's absolute garbage for that team, and the Cardinals took advantage, and that's what you have to do. You find a weakness, and you squeeze. That's really what you do, and they got to squeeze a lot of runs out of that Reds bullpen over the weekend.
Yeah, the offense, you mentioned the no mercy, but it was good that the no mercy came from an offensive standpoint, too. It wasn't just pitching shutting it down. We saw all-star Miles Michaelis. Put together a great start on Saturday. I forgot to mention in the first segment. Michaelis named an all-star replacement. He was phenomenal on Saturday afternoon against the Reds in those wonderful Saturday alternate cream jerseys. Love those alternate jerseys. I'm always one that Cardinals uniform, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that Saturday one is a beaut as well. And we also saw. Oh yeah,
I got Nolan right there. I got all the ones that I own that are all stars. I got Nolan and Goldie over here in the back.
Two all stars right there. Speaking of Goldie,
representing.
To finish up the weekend points, Goldschmidt almost didn't even realize he hit his 300th career home run.
Oh. that was funny.
Yeah,
that was so Goldie right there to be so like. Whatever, I don't care. Yeah, no bit. Did it go over? Oh, fine. I'll jog around the bases. Jeez. 300 home runs, man. Well done. Celebrate that, dude. It's a big accomplishment.
Absolutely. Congratulations. I was at the game on Saturday. Went to the Bloggers Day, so I got a Q&A with John Mozeliak as well that day. We'll have content on that later this week. But I was, my angle, you could see Goldschmidt literally walk almost all the way back to first base. It was hilarious. He had no idea it was gone. Credit to Danny Mack. I listened to his call later. He knew it was gone instantly. He was on it. Goldschmidt, 300 home runs. All in all, at least a little bit of momentum going into the All-Star break after a borderline bad start to the month of July.
Yeah. Now you win too, and what did they say? Happy flight. Well, happy flight to people who were going to the All-Star game, and happy go chill at home for everybody else because it feels good to win. And when you win two straight in the fashion that they won them, where it wasn't really all that close, you got to feel good about yourself. And guess what? You get them on the back half when you start the second half of the season here. It's the Reds again, just in Cincinnati. So same team, hopefully the same results.
And hopefully a little bit more rest, too, because there are some off days coming for the Cardinals as well. Not only All-Star break, but even post-All-Star break. It's not right back into the fire, right? You've got a couple of off days next week as well. But we'll finish up today's show by talking about a little bit of draft news. Talk about not only the Cardinals draft picks, some Cardinals sons have been drafted as well that we'll talk about in just a minute.
Yes, betonline.net is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports information. You can find all of the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. And betonline.net remains the best spot for all of your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season because it is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your favorite sports and events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. You had exciting times at the Open this past weekend. NFL football not too far off. And yes, you can bet on preseason games if you want. Lucas's Chicago Bears, 2.5-point favorites over the Kansas City Chiefs. Can you believe that, Lucas?
I can. I don't know why, but I can. Let's do it.
They're going all the way. All right, that's their first preseason game on August 13th for your Bears. My Packers, they're getting 3 points against the 49ers in their first preseason game in San Francisco. So who knows what's going to happen? It's preseason, right? But you can put bets on your favorite NFL teams, okay? So head to the website today, or you can use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. Bet online, where the game starts.
The MLB draft is this weekend. To my knowledge, it's the only draft that is this week, rather. It's the only draft that happens in season because of the way the college baseball season works and, based on last year's records and everything like that. So it's a little bit different this year, too, with the lottery system. We'll have a lottery system in place in future years, new CBA. Before we get into anything, though, I want to say two things. First of all, I'm going to do the end of the show tease now. Go to listen to Locked On MLB Prospects. Lindsay is incredible. He's doing a lot of work this past week or so with the draft. They will continue to do so, as well as Jeff of Locked On Guardians. Locked On MLB Prospects is the place to go. Another thing that we just got an alert. So this is a live reaction right now, JD. The Cubs have drafted Mark McGwire's son. Right-handed pitcher Mason McGwire has been picked by Chicago in the 8th round. The Athletic, the push notification says, but will he sign? I don't know the story to that, but I just got it, so I thought I'd share it. Kind of fun. That's one Cardinal son that got drafted. The first overall pick was another Cardinal son.
That it was. It was Matt Holliday's son, Jackson Holliday, who ended up going number 1. And I don't know if a lot of people had him as the number 1 pick. A lot of people were picking Andrew Jones's son as the number 1 spot. But, dude, you see those numbers that he had in high school this year? Hit over 600, 17 home runs. I mean, oh, my gosh.
It's like the show on Rookie.
Yeah, and to hear him talk, he sounds just like his dad. He's pretty humble. He even, he was kind of like nervous to talk to anybody. He's like, whatever. I'm number 1. I don't care. Like it was funny. Mm-hmm. He has more hair than his father. I'll tell you that much. He's got the long locks coming out, and you gotta feel real happy for him. It's a dream come true for any kid to get drafted and to be the number 1 overall pick, even better. So congratulations to him. As far as the Cardinals go, they had the number 2 or 22 overall pick, and they ended up going pitcher heavy with their first 2 picks. They selected Cooper Hjerpe is how it's pronounced, everybody. It's spelled Hjerpe. We know what you're thinking. It's pronounced Hjerpe. 21-year-old left-hander from Oregon State at number 22 overall. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, low 90s fastball that can touch 95, but his big pitch, Lucas, is his sweeping slider. He also throws a changeup. Gets a lot of comparisons to the Boston Red Sox' Chris Sale and the Milwaukee Brewers' Josh Hader due to their similarities in their delivery. Not so much what they throw, but just how they look when they're throwing on the mound.
Well, as long as Hjerpe does not have, as long as he doesn't cut up any jerseys or trash any clubhouses like Chris Sale did, I'll take Hjerpe. And
hopefully he doesn't break his pinky like Chris Sale did over the weekend. That was nasty.
I was watching that game live. I'm not a big I don't like it. So I'm just gonna move on. Yes, he broke his finger. But no, it was a theme. You mentioned it. The Cardinals pitching heavy, but also left-handed pitching heavy and pitching heavy from Power 5 programs, from programs that are established. That's what I'm looking for. Established programs. Yeah. They picked a person from Elon today, so it's it hasn't been all Power 5 schools, but that's a theme. You saw a couple years ago, everybody was shocked when they picked Jordan Walker out of high school. Obviously, Jordan Walker has worked out so far, but this is something that we've seen for quite some time with the Cardinals draft. They're going to try and pick proven guys that are near MLB ready. We could see Hjerpe in a year and a half. Maybe 2. We could see him next September. There are some reports that are saying that he's that close. He's not going to start, in the Florida Gulf Coast League. He's going to start probably at high A, maybe even double A. We don't know yet. So, but he's a proven guy. Something, that might, we've seen some speculation push some other left-handers in the system out for trade packages. That is pure speculation at this point, but I haven't seen too many negative reports on this Hjerpe, on the Cardinals' number 1 overall pick, so that's always a good sign, because I'll admit I'm not a huge expert on college baseball, so I defer to a lot of people. Lindsay's one of them. Jake, Locked On Braves, does a lot of college baseball as well, and they seem to have good things to say.
Yeah, I found this quote from Hjerpe, and when they asked what his pitching attack was, who does he compare himself to? You're going to like this one, buddy. Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom, because St. Louis native Max Scherzer, this is the quote, he's like a psychopath. And then deGrom is, quote, an animal, dominant, and his stuff blows hitters away. So that's who he compares himself to as far as like mentality, attitude on the mound. In the clips that we did see after he got drafted, a lot of emotion, a lot of energy out there, which I dig, man. I'm always happy to see that out of any player. He went 11-2, 2.53 ERA this past year for Oregon State, aka the Beavers. Struck out 161 hitters, which was a school record in just 103 in a third inning, and he walked just 23. So he's around the plate, he throws strikes, and he's missing bats. Okay, and that's fantastic. And then you got this, the goofy delivery that he has as a left-hander makes it all that more difficult, because you never have too many left-handed pitchers. Okay, if you can get some good ones, that's great. Number 59 overall, they took another lefty. It was Bryson Motz from the University of San Diego. He just turned 21 on Sunday, so he got drafted on his birthday. How cool is that? Drafted on his birthday. Throws low 90s. That's a memory
that'll last forever.
Right. I spent mine in Vegas, hammered. This guy gets drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals. His is a better memory because I don't remember mine at all, hardly. But anyway, I digress. All right, throws low 90s, but apparently he has hit 96, 97 on shorter stints. He is a starter in college. He was 10-2, 3.87 ERA. He strikes out 129 hitters in just 90 and 2/3 innings, walks just 22. So another guy who's around the zone, throwing strikes, but missing bats. Many scouts said he could still be a starter, but likely will end up in the bullpen. But both of these guys, 21 years old. So you don't have, like, as you mentioned, may not have to wait too long to see them in a Cardinals uniform if they progress the way they expect them to, because you like to get some of these guys up when they're, 23 years old. So that's only 2 years away. And that's if they progress just regularly. Like if maybe they get ahead of schedule, you come out and find them on the team next year at some point. You never know.
We could see them before Jordan Walker, and that would be something.
That's a possibility. That's a possibility.
And that might not even be a bad thing. Like you said, maybe these guys deserve it at that point. But very rarely do the Cardinals have a bad draft, and it's trending that this one will be another good draft by the Cardinals scouting department, as the draft department, Randy Flores. Mm-hmm. These guys know what they're doing. There's a reason you see so many former Cardinals in other spots flourishing as well as in St. Louis. Because they know how to pick them, and they know how to pick them well. So we'll see how the rest of the draft lands out there. Rounds 3 to 10 were today. It's a very longer draft than most, because you have 26 men on a roster. So it's a longer draft than most. We'll see how the rest turns out. We'll also see what the Derby turns out and the All-Star game turns out tomorrow. So be sure to tune back in tomorrow. We'll have our Home Run Derby reaction. Maybe we're talking about a machine upset. Maybe we're talking about a machine disappointment. We'll be talking about the Derby, as well as going more in-depth on the All-Star game. And be sure to stay tuned for Thursday's episode. The Cardinals have been linked to Juan Soto, or at least to the Nationals. Is it realistic? We'll discuss. We'll give some trade packages. We'll talk about some wild ones we've seen as well.
Not talking about it yet.
I have to come back in on Thursday for that one. But before that, come back tomorrow for Home Run Derby reaction and an All-Star game preview. And until then, from JD and myself, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Stay safe, stay well. Have a fantastic rest of your day.